Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our free online information session for the Bachelor's in Information Technology. I'm your host, Sanjeev. I'll be presenting for you all this morning. Before we begin, how's everyone doing this fine Saturday morning? Is everyone okay? Full of energy, ready for the information to be relayed to you? Yeah? All excited? Excellent, no problem. I'm always happy to have that level of interactivity in these sessions. So, as I would have said, right, we usually have a couple of speakers here, but today we don't have like all of them, right? I'm gonna be primarily conducting the session with you all, right? But of course, these are some persons that you would be in contact with once you get into the whole application process, etc. Right, so we have Mr. Ravi Raghunath, who is the Executive Director of CTS College. He can be contacted at the phone number and email address on screen. We also have Mr. Aaron Naris, who is unfortunately unable to attend the session this morning as well. He's usually part of the presentation, but unfortunately not just not for today, right? And he can be contacted at 328-8594 and via the email address on screen. And I'm Sanjeev, your program administrator for the Bachelor's in IT, and I can be contacted via that number as well as that email address. Now, we also have a group email address. So instead of directly, emailing documents or passing queries on to one particular person from our BSc IT team, you can forward it to our group email whereby all of us will be able to view. And this is a lot better for us as well in terms of response time. So sometimes, stuff sent directly to us may be sidelined or not really prioritized for the time being. But if it's sent to bsc at ctscollege.com, you're almost guaranteed to get a response almost immediately right away, right? So a lot more persons would be available to actually view these, right? So it's a lot better if you send important, very important queries, or even if you started your application, it's to be sent at bsc at ctscollege.com. All right. Any questions or concerns before we begin? Okay, no problem. So of course, feel free to unmute or post your questions in the chat if you do have any, right? But on that note, I actually have a question for you all, right? I have a great question for you all. My question to you all this morning is why study for a bachelor's degree? Or why do you think people study for a bachelor's in IT? Anyone wants to take a guess? Anyone wants to take a guess why the persons would study for a bachelor's in IT? Sorry? You're saying further their education, excellence. I'm seeing some responses coming into the chat as well, right? There's a lot of other reasons as to why persons would study for a bachelor's in IT. And I'm going to introduce all of these to you this morning. So check this out, right? These are some common reasons why persons would choose to further their studies after finishing the secondary level, some stuff like CSEC or even CAPE, right? So why persons would study for a bachelor's degree? We have for promotional purposes, for career change, we have for increased salary. Perhaps you're working within the IT field right now, but there's higher positions. And with those higher positions, there's a certain level of qualification that you have to meet or a standard, right? And once you study, you have a better chance of meeting that standard. Therefore, your salary would be increased once you are promoted. So promotion and increased salary kind of go hand in hand, right? And it all happens when you have the ability to actually study. So you study, you have the ability, you get your bachelor's degree and you have that ability to now get promoted within the workplace, right? To start and grow your own business. A lot of students, they're working within the sector, and then of course with all of the experience that they would have gathered throughout the entire years, they are now confident that they have the ability to start and grow their own business. And this is something that's really common when it comes to IT. A lot of programmers and web developers are going solo, right? They started their own companies and they are now millionaires successful, right? So that's primarily why persons would choose to further their studies, not only in IT but just particularly in general. And of course, in terms of personal achievement, let's just say that we have a lot of, persons who, again, really experienced in IT. They have all of that practical experience in IT. They have certifications, but they never really got a chance to get their bachelor's in IT because perhaps it was not available to them at that point in time where they were, really trying to focus and build that experience. They may attempt a bachelor's degree just for personal achievement, even though they have all of that practical experience, that really comes over those years. They still really want that bachelor's in IT to say that, I would have studied XYZ and I would have achieved. So it's really another reason why is for personal achievement. And then we have for practical experience in IT. Now, this is particularly with our IT degree. There's a lot of programming projects. So it's not really theory only. You have the ability to put your theory into practice through the assignments. And most of the assignments here within this program are practical, right? So a lot of programming projects, a lot of group projects, all of those. And then of course we have enhancing your employability. So this could mean either two things. You have the ability to get promotions, etc. But you as yourself, developing yourself academically opens up new avenues for you in terms of your future. So maybe, you're not satisfied with the job that you're currently working at and you want to step outside of that, then having a bachelor's degree helps you there tremendously. You have the ability to, go outside of that and apply for jobs in different establishments or, higher paying establishments, etc. Right? So it enhances your employability by far, right? Once you have your bachelor's degree. So these are some typical reasons why persons would study for a bachelor's degree. Yeah, and we have some comments in chat here. Mr. Shaquille Davidson said, to me, technology is the future. So it's important to have that info and a boost in career, also a better standard of living. And you are absolutely correct, right? Everyone would want that sort of thing. And it's only achievable, once you're willing to put in that work for your studies, make the effort, right? Because it's not going to be easy, but I guarantee you, you are going to definitely enjoy the rewards afterwards. All right, so it's all a sacrifice, but it's not a meaningless sacrifice. You're gonna have a wonderful outcome at the end. So what I want to do here now is actually compare. We're gonna look closer at the salary aspect of, pursuing a bachelor's degree. So we're gonna actually compare qualifications versus an on-job training salary, right? So, you just came out of, your studies and you move into like some sort of, how to say, trainee position, right? So we're going to compare each one of the qualifications in relation to how much you would get once you go on job training, right? And these salaries are actually on average. So it could be, either a bit higher or a little bit less, right? So we have CSEC, like persons with CXC or CSEC qualifications, they're roughly, gonna earn $3,000 per month. So these are monthly salaries. All right. Persons with CAPE, right, or a diploma, they would earn roughly $4,300 per month. Persons with an associate degree would earn roughly $5,400 per month, but a person with a bachelor's degree would earn roughly $7,500 per month. And if we look at, that big gap between just the CXC qualification, what you would be earning per month, and the bachelor's degree, qualification, what you would be earning per month, there's a huge gap, a lot more money per month that you would be receiving. Even that gap between the associate level and the bachelor's level, right? There is a huge salary increase there, right? So it's definitely something. And these values are on average. So it could be like way higher, right? Especially with today's standard as well. And then of course we have the master's level, which is further to the bachelor's degree. So that's pretty much postgraduate, and you would be earning roughly like $8,700 per month, right? It all depends on the position, of course, and all of these figures again are on average. So we're going to examine these figures a bit closer. So let's look at a case for pursuing a degree, right? How much more would you be earning with a bachelor's degree versus just CSEC or CXC qualifications per month? So we're going to look back at these figures here just really quickly. So we know our CSEC figure is roughly $3,000 per month versus our bachelor's degree figure, which is roughly 7,500 per month, right? So if we take those values and we subtract them, so we're going to subtract the CSEC qualification value from the bachelor's degree value, and in excess, every month you would be earning roughly $4,537.50 more, right? Every single month just by having your bachelor's degree. right? Just by having your bachelor's degree, you're getting $4,500 extra per month, right? And if you take that figure, right, and you multiply by 12, let's see how much you'll be making in 1 year, right? So 4,500 per month extra, right? Let's see how much you'll be earning in 12 months, 1 year extra. So you'll be earning roughly $54,450 extra every year, right? Just by having a bachelor's degree. And believe it or not, that $54,450 can actually clear your tuition in full for this program. So in just, let's just say, 1 year of working an on-job training position, right, or a trainee position or an intern position, you may actually have the capability to clear all of your tuition or all of your school debt, right, in just 1 year. And it's just in excess. So all that is not coming from your actual salary, it's just coming from, the excess pretty much, right? So that's amazing to actually think about, or actually to consider. But how much more would you be earning in a lifetime? Supposedly that you keep that training position, which is highly unlikely. I mean, you are going to rise up in the ranks further, once you get that experience and you have, you actually get the opportunity to apply that knowledge. How much more would you be earning in a lifetime of pretty much 40 years? So we're going to take that $54,450 every year, right? We're going to multiply that by 40, and pretty much our calculations conclude to 2 million, sorry, 178,000, right? And that's how much more you would be earning pretty much in a lifetime just by having a bachelor's degree, right? And again, all of these figures are on average, right? Because we started with average figures for our, for our qualification based on job role, etc., right? And translating this over here, right, you can actually see in terms of how much more you would be earning in a lifetime. Yeah? Oh, I was lagging there a little bit. I'm so sorry. The internet connection isn't really the best here. All right? No problem. So if you need me to go over anything, feel free to let me know. All right? Excellent. So definitely, it's something that you want to actually take into consideration, right? And actually seeing that this is just at the entry level. This is not even an actual role within IT. This is just on-job training or trainees, right? Or intern, right? It opens a wide range of prospect for students and persons who are interested in pursuing their bachelor's degree alike, right? Because you now have the ability to actually see this is where I can potentially be financially further down the line, right? Once I pursue my bachelor's degree and once, I advance within my company or whatever. All right. Okay, no problem. Okay. So I also have here in terms of the job aspect. So everyone who's doing this bachelor's degree, their main goal, or probably, something that they would want to actually have happen once they finish their bachelor's degree is, of course, to hold on a really good job, right? We all want it, but not all of us get it. So we did a bit of research on the World Economic Forum, or the WEF for short, right? Concerning the jobs of tomorrow. And they actually suggested that the workforce is automating, and that because of the automation, it's displacing over 85 million jobs probably within the next 5 years, right? So 85 million job roles would pretty much not exist, not entirely, but it would eventually get there within the next 5 years, which is kind of scary considering that jobs are quite hard to find as of right now, right? The job market is really tight, right? Especially like in medicine, etc., right? Everyone is looking to get into a particular position, but if there's a lot of excess there, it's going to be a lot harder to get that position, right? Because there's so many people pretty much doing the same thing, right? And it's actually really scary to see that possibly 85 billion job roles would be displaced in the next 5 years. And with COVID-19, the COVID-19 recession actually created a double disruption scenario for the worker. So companies actually started adopting technology or technological integrations, and 43 of the 43% percent of the businesses that were actually surveyed indicated that they are actually set to reduce their workforce because of these technology integrations. So putting yourself into the position of your employer. I mean, if you had the option to have one system to the jobs of 5 or 6 or even 10 persons, which one would you choose, right? I mean, in terms of maintenance, you're just simply going to need 1 or 2 persons, IT professionals, to ensure that your system is upkept, right? Or your website is upkept, right? Your online shopping experience stuff, like all of that could be managed by a smaller group, right? So it kind of lessens the need to have 10, 15, 20 persons working in an office every single day, 5 days a week, right? Every single month. And that's a lot less salaries that you have to pay at the end of the month as an employer. So from the employer's point of view, it's a lot more affordable or profitable to actually, adopt some sort of technological integration within their business model, right? Therefore, that one scenario, that one thing is actually displacing all of these jobs. So on the right hand side, I actually have the ins and the outs. Pretty much it's the demand for some jobs would actually rise over the next 5 years, and then we have those that would actually decrease in demand. So I don't know if you guys can see this properly. Can someone confirm if they're actually seeing that table on the right hand side? Right, I'm just going to actually start highlighting so it's a lot easier for you to actually see these. Right, so we have here 2 columns. We have on the left side, we have those that are increasing in demand, right, and we have those that are decreasing in demand. Right, so let's look at those that are increasing in demand. So that's over here. We have some roles like data analysts and scientists. So that's number one. We have AI, right, which is very, very, well, it's very popular right now. It's so popular, students are using it to assist them with their assignments. And while it could be a problem, it actually is not essentially a big problem, but it's really valuable. It's becoming one of those invaluable resources that everyone is going to soon have access to. So AI, machine learning specialists, we have big data specialists, digital marketing and strategy specialists. So we get the idea. There's a lot of specialist positions opening up. But let's look at those that are decreasing in demand. We have data entry clerks, we have administrative and executive secretaries, we have accounting, bookkeeping, and payroll clerks, etc. Right? I have a question for you all. I have a small challenge for you all. Can anyone from chat tell me what they notice? Is there any trend that they notice concerning the jobs that are increasing in demand versus those that are decreasing in demand? I mean, we kind of actually spoke about it not so long ago, but does anyone wants to reiterate, that actual trend there? Anyone? What can you actually see between the jobs that are increasing demand versus those that are decreasing in demand, right? I'm gonna actually highlight it. I'm gonna give you all a hand here. So look at these here. These are more, you know, these actually require human intervention. We have data entry clerks. Persons would sit behind a desk and a chair, behind a computer, right? Actually typing in data for customers that walk into an establishment. We have administrative and executive secretaries, right? Secretaries sit behind a desk also, right? Accounting, bookkeeping, and payroll clerks. Again, desk and chair, right? Let's look at those that are increasing in demand. We have data analysts and scientists. These are all of these roles here are specialist roles. They end with specialists, they end with strategists, they end with professionals, right? Developers, analysts. These guys potentially have the ability to do the jobs of maybe 5 or 6 of these persons at once, right? So definitely those that are increasing in demand require a higher value of education, a higher level of education, a higher level of experience, as opposed to those that are decreasing in demand. These are simple jobs. These are jobs that persons can get with just CSEC qualifications or even CAPE qualifications and minimal experience, whereas those that are increasing in demand require extensive level of education and possibly even experience within the field before you are employed within the sector, right? So therefore, it requires you, it pushes you, and it actually motivates you to make yourself a bit more marketable, make yourself a bit more educated. And the only way that you can achieve that is, of course, pursuing a bachelor's, pursuing your master's, even pursuing some sort of higher level of education. I mean, that's the first step, right? Having that level of education could possibly get you the job, which would eventually get you the experience. So it's pretty much that kind of domino effect kind of thing, right? One affects the other, right? So you all understand that? all of these things could be done technologically in one go. You are absolutely correct. Less paperwork, right? Manual jobs, less paperwork. You are absolutely correct there, Shaquille. All right. So I'm glad that I could actually, a lot of you are now a bit more aware of what is going on within the job market, as well as, when it comes to the salary aspect, because those are the main things that students would look at when we speak long term. All right. So how exactly does your bachelor degree help you achieve your goal? We're going to actually look at that, right? And in fact, this program is being offered with with the University of Bedfordshire, which is a UK-based university, right? It's a UK-based university, and they've been doing this program for quite some time, and we've been partnered with them for quite some time, right? And I'm sure that you all are you may be wondering, well, where do these technological integrations go? Like, I haven't really seen any of these. Well, if you really dig deeper, or I don't think you even have to dig deep, actually, to notice some of these, because these are some examples here on screen, right, of these integrations. So consider this, right? Eventually, just imagine eventually you don't even have to leave your house to get your groceries. You can order your groceries online, have it delivered to your doorstep, right? Of at an additional cost, of course. But uh you save yourself a whole lot of time, right? Just by, you don't have to sit down in traffic to actually visit the store, right? You don't have to wait in line when you're about to, check out with all of your items, and you don't have to stay in traffic again when you're trying to get back home, right? It's a lot less trouble for you. It's a lot more convenient for you. And Massey Stores is pretty much heading along that line. So you have availability to an online service where you can actually purchase your grocery items online and have it delivered to you. And of course you have your MasterCard, which is now digitalized within the application, right? I'm pretty sure that you all are familiar with the KFC online site by now, for those if for those lovers of KFC, right? And we have their online service, which allows you to order your food online, have it delivered to you, or you can actually order and just pick it up at any particular location, your nearest KFC location, right? You have the ability to see all of their, new offers. I believe there's special discounts and stuff like that for persons who utilize this online service. And one that's pretty much uncommon, and not a lot of persons actually know about, is actually the TTPS online service. So they actually have an online service that would allow you to actually, make reports. So like something happens, you can't go to a police station, you make a report online, right? And you can actually request services online, information, any security any updates from the Ministry of National Security, anything like that, it would be published here for you to easily access. So it's these technology integrations are happening all around you, not only at the professional level, right? Within businesses, within their business models, like big companies like the bank and stuff like that. It's happening in like in the simplest of ways, in the simple establishments, right? Everyday life, your grocery store, your fast food outlets, they are all looking to integrate technology. Soon enough, I believe that it would just simply have whenever you go to order fast food, it's just simply like an establishment that makes it, and it will be strictly online, right? You order your food online, it's all delivered to you. There's no need to actually go in and purchase anything at all, right? So it may actually get to that, and that's actually amazing, to really think about, to actually to take into consideration. All right. So we're gonna move past this a little bit. We're gonna actually backtrack a little bit. So we actually see the future. We know that, these things are potential. It has a lot of potential to happen, right? It's actually happening right now, very slowly and easy, right? So let's have a look. Let's take it a step back, right? Why exactly would you want to pursue a bachelor's degree? I mean, we did examine some key reasons why, but why study with the University of Bedfordshire, right? Why actually get into the program in the first place? Let's have a look at that particularly, right? But I want to give you guys a little bit of history with the University of Bedfordshire, right? Why study with the University of Bedfordshire? First of all, the University of Bedfordshire is a modern, innovative university with a heritage of top quality education going back for more than 100 years, right? More than a century of experience within the education industry. And more than 20,000 students from over 120 countries are actually enrolled in programs at the University of Bedfordshire. So internationally recognized, therefore. And of course, they have 5 campuses in the UK. They are UK based. So they have a campus in Luton, Bedford, Potteridge, and so on. They actually have education partners in China, the Middle East, Europe, Southeast Asia, and Trinidad and Tobago. And the internationally renowned league table has placed Bedfordshire in the top 6% of the best universities in the world. And the University of Bedfordshire is actually the winner of the Queen's Anniversary Prize in 2013. This is the highest form of national recognition for universities in the UK. All right. So that's a little bit about University of Bedfordshire, but here's a little bit about CTS College. Our mission at CTS College is to provide high quality and relevant educational opportunities whilst promoting excellence in staff and students. CTS College is, of course, a private institution with over 22 years in the education industry. We are ACTT recognized and registered. And of course, CTS College offers a wide range of programs from preschool, from all the way from preschool to diploma level, bachelor degree level, even your master level, right? Programs we have at CTS College. And we also offer a wide range of professional development programs at CTS College as well. So our intention is to take our students, right, and give them experience that is so valuable, right? It's way beyond the academics. Of course, we are actually the winner of over 106 ABE World Prizes since 2007. I believe we've actually surpassed that number. I believe it stands at 109 currently. We actually the winner of 47 university awards with the University of Hertfordshire, which is another university that we also offer programs with currently. And we are also the winner of 2 ABMA Academic Achievement Awards. And we also won a lot of awards with ACTT. So that's the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. We won 11 awards with them. We got 6 for student support services. We got 3 for excellence for an established QMS and 2 for excellence in teaching and learning, right? So we've been out there. I would pretty much call this our bragging page, but you haven't seen anything yet, right? We have a lot to examine in terms of stats. So CTS College has pretty much over 15 years of experience in delivering bachelor level programs, specifically the bachelor's in IT. And we have our average pass rate of over 90% per module with over 2,000 applicants altogether so far. And I believe we've surpassed that number, right? By a whole lot. We actually have over 1,750 BSc IT graduates with 500 first class honors. So 500 of those 1,750 students would have actually achieved first class honors, right? And graduates were actually employed in various sectors and in various industries at various levels. So a big question a lot of students ask is, well, after I finish this, what opportunities are there waiting for me? That's a good question. The real answer to that question is, of course, there's not going to be anything waiting for you at the end of the day, right? But of course, it's all about how you market yourself, right? But you have a lot of capabilities after achieving your bachelor's in IT, particularly this one, because it's internationally recognized. We have students who actually migrated to Canada, the US, possibly even the UK or Australia, and they were able to hold on really good positions there as well, right? In the past, it's happened and it's currently happening right now, right? So possibly, you may not be able to get something locally. I'm just saying, maybe not even regionally, but internationally, your entire scope in terms of your career can, take a lot of different parts, and it does not have to be locally, right? It could be, throughout another Caribbean country, right? So that's regional or possibly even internationally, right? I'm seeing some questions in the chat there. When did you first start this degree program? I actually started well, we actually started this program. Well, this program particularly would have started, I believe, in 2020, right? Maybe a little bit before that, sorry. But we actually had a bachelor's in computer science with a different university before, right? But we had some challenges with them in relation to fees and stuff, and we migrated across the University of Bedfordshire, and we've been offering their programs seamlessly since then, right? Because of their pricing, because of the support that they gave to us and our students, which is pretty much our mission, right? We are very student support oriented, and we expect the same once we partner with another institution, that they provide the same level of experience that we seek to provide for our students. So that's why we stuck with the University of Bedfordshire for now, right? Because the support that they have to offer, it's excellent. All right. And do you guys provide assistance with placement with employers, particularly not, but we do have tons because companies, they know CTS College, they know that we offer bachelor level programs, so they send us tons of openings, job postings, and we would usually send these off to students. We don't actually have like an internship program directly, affiliated with any particular IT-based company or institution or anything like that right now. We're working on that, right? We had a lot of proposals and stuff like that in the past, but they haven't really worked out in terms of long term. So I think the most recent internship that we had would have been for our level 5 batch, well, our level 4 and 5 batch of students, and a lot of them would have taken advantage of it. I think like about 5 or 6 students were, accepted for the internship, but it only lasted a couple of months or so, right? So we're looking for something a bit more long term where you actually may be able to hold on a larger position within a company. So it's something that it's in progress, but of course, once we have some sort of official confirmation, you will be informed um, accordingly. Of course, yeah, this program is definitely ACTT. It's recognized, accredited. Well, being recognized and being accredited is two different things, right? But definitely the University of Bedfordshire is acknowledged by ACTT in Trinidad as being an awarding body, so it's all fine, right? Having this bachelor's degree in Trinidad and Tobago, you're definitely going to get a job with it if that's what you're asking. So there's no problem in terms of employability aspect, right? Outside of it, internationally recognized, no problem getting jobs outside of Trinidad. That's regionally or internationally. All right. So you are covered locally, regionally, and internationally as well. Right. So no problems there. Cool. All right. So that's a little bit about our experience with delivering bachelor level programs. And these here are some marks from the various levels just last semester. Right? We're still tallying up marks for this semesters as well because it's currently in progress. But this is from our last semester that we had from, I believe this was October to December, right? Or September to December last year. So we had two of our level 4 units here. So this is computer system structure and principles of programming, right? So this is our level 4 class in blue, our level 5 class is in red, and our level 6 class is in green, right? And we can actually see the pass rates for each one of these as well. So for level 4, for both of the subjects or the units, students would have achieved a 96 and a 99% pass rate for each one of the units respectively. And that's a tally of the entire class, of course, right? And we can actually see the grade ranges. So pretty much 58 students would have scored within the grade range of 70 to 100%, which is pretty much first class honors worthy, right? We have students scoring, well, 8 students scoring 60 to 69, 9 students scoring 50 to 59, 5 students scoring 40 to 49, and then we had some referrals, etc. And the highest mark, right, for this particular semester for this unit was 99%, right? We have 97% for the other one as well. So you have a lot of like a lot of data to actually study here. If we go further down the line here, we can actually see that all throughout the program, throughout the various levels as well, the majority of the class has the ability to achieve that first class on a worthy grade range, which is 70 to 100%. Right. And those pass rates as well, especially at level 6, is really, really high because we double our support, if anything, at level 6, because there's a lot of research projects, a lot of programming related projects that you have to get done at level 6. So the support there is, tremendous, right? And I believe that you would definitely look forward to getting that, or you would definitely appreciate it once you get there, right? But our pass rates overall, it's pretty much 98%. Right? Throughout our entire semester, it's only been nothing but success, and we can actually see the highest marks down here, right? So you have the ability to see how many students score within that range and what's the highest, current standard mark for that particular subject or that particular unit, right? So it's all within the 80s and the 90s, etc., and higher. But of course, it takes a lot from you, right? So while we provide all of the support, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to get your work done on time, and to put in that effort to achieve that mark because you are provided with everything that you need to pass. It's all about what you do with that, right? So, of course, here's a little bit about the features of our bachelor's in IT. So this program, as we mentioned, was pretty much globally accessible. It's work applied, accelerated, as well as affordable and fully accredited. right? So let's look at the fully accredited aspect. And this program is accredited by the Quality Assurance Agency. For those of you all who, actually want to know what the Quality Assurance Agency is, or the QAA is, it's essentially the equivalent to what ACTT is in Trinidad, right? So it's pretty much institute or a movement that pretty much ensures that there's some sort of standard across the universities and the standard across programs offered at these universities, right? So there's a particular standard. This is UK based as well. All right, so the University of Bedfordshire was subjected to a QAA review and continuously meets those requirements, meets the expectations, and they continue to pass their assessments with the QAA, right? So there's no need to be alarmed in terms of credibility. You're fully covered. And of course, the University of Bedfordshire is recognized as an awarding body by ACTT in Trinidad as well. All right. So you are fully accredited. And this here is actually a snip of what your BSc IT certificate would look like. So this is what you would be achieving at the end of level 6 once you complete the program. All right. So all that trouble for just this piece of paper you might be seeing, but you would not believe the opportunities that await once you have this, right? And I mean, it's only for the time being that you're going to experience, like having to stay up late to do your assignments, but trust me, it is worth it, right? So very soon you'll be getting one of these with your name on it and possibly even first class honors in information technology. It's only a matter of time, right? But this, of course, is your starting point. In terms of globally accessible, we would have mentioned that this program is accessed by over 20,000 students from over 120 countries, right? With partners in China, Middle East, Europe, Southeast Asia, and Trinidad and Tobago. The University of Bedfordshire actually has an online learning environment called Brio, which is available 24/7 from anywhere in the world. So it's their online learning platform. You would have access to this once you become a student at the University of Bedfordshire. You are assigned a unique student ID and you have to use this to log in, etc. Only when you are accepted, however, you'll get access. All right. And of course, there's a student information desk, or SID, that's open 24/7 to support students from anywhere in the world, right? And of course, at CTS College, we do have extra level of support. So we actually created, in addition to the online learning environment, which is Brio, we actually created a Google Share Drive for you all. So all of these documents, all of these lecture notes, all of those recordings for classes, because yes, classes are actually online for the time being, right? We provide everything centralized. So let's just say that you just started your semester and you don't have access to all of the materials just as yet. Not a problem, right? You have the ability now to actually visit our shared drive and you have access to all of our class materials. And it's not just current class materials. Like if you're a level 4 student and you want to have a look at what level 5 is currently doing, you can do so. So you can actually use Google Drive, look at all the materials that we have there for level 5, and you can actually study ahead or look at the assignments, because the assignments, they may actually change from time to time, but they rarely ever do. So you have the ability to actually start working on your stuff a whole lot earlier. All right. So that puts you at an advantage. All right. So you have access to everything. And of course, all of the recordings, books, and materials are available through the online learning platform provided by the university, which is Brio. And it's also accessible to you via our CTS Google Shared Drive. All right. So there's a lot of duplication there when it comes to your information. In terms of practical, right, this program actually assists you to solve real IT challenges. How do we do this? Or how does the university do this or ensure that you meet this requirement, so to speak? You have the ability to get hands-on experience of developing IT systems. You also have the ability to deliver IT solutions that support a wide range of business functions. And you also have the ability to learn to develop systems with excellent design through understanding human-computer interaction required in modern IT systems. All right. So the assignments associated with this program is pretty much very, very, very practical, I must say. Most of your assignments require you to develop something or to program something or to actually evaluate something. And it's usually either individual or group. So, programming projects would be a group effort. So there's a lot of like pretty much you're trying to simulate a development team rather than just a one-man show kind of thing. So you have the ability, you develop soft skills as well just by doing the assignment. assignments. So let's have a look at one of these said assignments where you have the ability to apply your knowledge. So this student would have actually had to propose an a solution for the public transportation system of Trinidad and Tobago, or pretty much PTSC, all right? So this student decided to create a fleet management solution for them. So they have the ability to actually track, the availability of the buses, who's actually, going to be using what bus on what day, right? So we have scheduling, we have all of these wonderful features, which pretty much is a task currently, right? Because we really ever, there's lots of, common issues with PTSC at this point in time. There's always something on the news about them, right? So this student decided to actually utilize that as his selected problem and propose an IT-based solution that could possibly solve that problem. So you are not only just learning about development, you are learning how you can use your skill and knowledge to solve an actual problem that we are having right now, right? And this is just one example of a project, right? There's many, many more like this. And of course, you get to choose the problem, you get to choose how you solve it. And given that opportunity, I believe that students take that opportunity and they run with it, and it's wonderful. All right. In terms of accelerated, each level consists of 4 units, which can be done in 2 semesters or 8 months. You have the ability to complete your BSc in IT in just over 2 years if you start at level 4, right? If you start at level 5 or 6, of course, it's going to take you a lot less time, and it's also going to cost you a lot less. But it all depends on where you currently have, well, what qualifications you currently have, sorry, possibly even what work experience you currently possess as well. It may exempt you from having to do a couple of the units or a couple of the semesters, or maybe even an entire level, right? So you can be exempted from an entire level just based on your qualifications and prior work experience, right? So that's what we mean when we say accelerated. All right. In terms of affordability, right, the UoB BSc IT program at CTS College is one of the more affordable BSc IT programs in Trinidad at this point in time, right? Do the research yourself, you'll actually be surprised to see some of the costs at other institutions. Our payment plans actually make achieving your bachelor's in IT a financially viable option. So yes, we don't expect you to pay all of your fees upfront. God, no one does, right? We want to ensure that it's a lot easier for you, right? And we would have actually started adopting this from the very early stages once we recognize as students, it's really a financial challenge for them, but it's something that they're so passionate about and they want to get it done, right? We introduce payment plans for you all as well. And we're going to look at these in detail, right? And these are actually customizable. So we don't have like just one fixed plan for everyone that you must follow. We kind of do, but you have the ability to actually customize this, right? And have it fit your pocket, which a lot of other institutions, I believe, they don't particularly do that. You don't have that benefit. All right. And of course, we also partner with institutions. If your payment plans doesn't work, our payment plans, sorry, don't work for you, that's totally fine. We actually partner with institutions such as GMMB to assist students in obtaining student loans, right? So there's more information on that. If you contact me directly as well, I'll be more than happy to direct you in that pathway if you're looking at that as well. All right, so we're going to look at the structure of the BSc IT program, because I did mention, okay, there's a level 4, there's a level 5, there's a level 6, right? So level 4 is actually ideal for CAPE holders or persons with 2 or more years working experience in IT, or, right, you can possess IT certifications or 3 years general work experience with just CSEC qualifications, right? So level 4 is pretty much ideal for persons who just finished CSEC and you're currently in working in IT, or even if you're not working in IT, right, you just have general work experience and CSEC qualifications, you stand a really, really good chance at entering at level 4. All right. At level 5, right, we expect students to have a higher level of education, sorry, within IT, right, to particularly enter at level 5. So you must have a level 4 IT diploma, or you can have 2 years IT work experience and a combination of IT certs. So it's either you have the diploma, or you have IT work experience together with IT certifications, right? And then of course we have level 6, which requires an associate's, an HND, or a level 5 IT diploma, or, right, if you don't have any one of those, you can actually provide, if you have like 6 years or more in IT work experience and a combination of IT IT certifications, you can use that combination to get you into level 6. So you'll be exempted from 4 and 5, and you can finish your BSc in IT in just 8 months. All right. So I'm seeing some questions coming up in chat there. Let me just take a moment to review them really quickly. All right. So what's the estimated time frame remaining to complete degree program after the 2-year period? Um, so you're suggesting, all right, so now that you have the starting points here, right? Would you mind rephrasing the question a slight bit? So if you would, the question is asking if you were to start at level 4, how long it would take you to complete? Or am I misunderstanding, Eric? Because what happens is that when you actually start the program at level 4, right? So once you start the program at level 4, that's essentially 8 months, right? And then of course you would have like a break in between level 4 and level 5, which is 4 months. Then you would, yeah, the time frame of, well, pretty much each one of these levels will take you 8 months to complete, right? So each one of these are 8 months, 8 months, 8 months, right? And of course, in between these there are semester breaks, which are additional 8 months in between here, right? So I do have a graphical representation of this as well to assist, because I knew these questions were going to come along as well. All right, so I'm gonna shift over to those now actually, so we can see how long it would take you to finish the program from each one of the starting points, and what are the break periods, and how progression actually works throughout the program. So just confirming, at the level 4 requirements, 3-year general work experience and CSEC. Yes. So you can provide at least like 1 to 2 years. It's actually acceptable in some cases. But if you don't meet that requirement, we also have a separate program to actually help you out, and that's called the bridging program, right? Or the IT accelerator program that we're gonna, brand it as. But of course, it's essentially a program filled with 5 courses that would assist you in meeting the entry requirement for level 4 in our bachelor's in IT, right? So we're gonna get a bit closer with that a bit later. That's something separate that we do from the bachelor's in IT. So it's a separate program offered by CTS, right? So the work experience must be 19? No, you can have general work experience as well and CSEC qualifications. And if you have any other qualifications that you want to provide, you can supply it and we can apply for you for level 4 directly from this. So it does not particularly have to be working experience in IT. All right. So let me just move straight on to, of course, the structure of the semesters as well. So this is probably going to be really helpful for you all understanding how the program pretty much works. So you have level 4, a student who starts at level 4 going all the way to the end, which is level 6. So once you start at level 4, you're going to have 2 semesters in level 4. Each semester is going to last 4 months. So you finish semester 1 or 4 months long, and then you move on to your second semester right after. So let's say you start this year in June, right? That's 4 months from June to September, right? And then from October to January next year is your second semester. So that's 8 months in total, all right? Let's look at level 5. Level 5, same structure, 2 semesters of 4 months each, right? So that's 8 months to complete level 5. And then level 6, 2 semesters of 4 months each, 8 months to complete level 6. So 8 months by 8 months by 8 months. But there's also a semester break in between each one of these levels. And every time you complete a level, so every time you finish your first, let's just say that you start at level 4 and you finish your first 2 semesters or your first 8 months in the program, before you are allowed to go on to level 5, right? You now have to take a mandatory 4-month break before you do so, as specified by the university. And it's really prime time for you to actually, kick back, relax, get a little bit of moment to catch your breath pretty much before you move on to the next level of study, which I believe is very, very valuable and important for you all, right? Progressing through this program. You don't want to tire yourself out. All right, so that's pretty much how it's structured. So you have this break here, and similarly, before you move on to level 6, so you're on level 5, when you're going on to level 6, you have another 4-month break right there. So following this pathway, it's going to take you roughly 24 months. So 2 years of studies, remember, right? 8 months, 8 months, 8 months here, right? So 8 3 is 24, 24 months of studies, or 2 years of studies, right? And then 8 months of break. So that would be the 4 months here and the 4 months here, right? So altogether, right? If you start this program from level 4, it's going to take you 2 years, 8 months approximately, right? Could be a lot less, of course, if you start at a higher level, but that's pretty much how long it's going to take you to complete this program if you start at all the way from level 4. 2 years, 8 months, right? Just under 3 years. Okay, so that's inclusive of the break periods and, of course, the periods that you would have to study. All right. Is there a break between semester? Yes, there is, but it's pretty much like a little 1 week, 2 weeks. So just to really, round up all of the marks once the university releases them, right? And then you have like a 1 week, 2 week to gather your fees for the next semester. But that's not to be confused for your semester break. Right, your semester break is pretty much after you complete an entire level, but in between your first 4 months and your second 4 months for each one of these semesters, you might have like a 1 week or a 2 week to really catch your breath, right, before classes begin again for the new semester, right? So if you're progressing from semester to semester, it's pretty much like 1 or 2 weeks, right? It really depends on the semester. And then once you progress from level to level, from level 4 to level 5, you have a larger break. All right. Do you get a certificate at each level? No, it's not a diploma program. It's a full bachelor's degree. So therefore, right, you have to ensure that you complete each level, right, in order to get your official transcript, your bachelor's in IT at the end of level 6. So your qualification would only come at the end of level 6, right? So you have to complete the full program in order to get your bachelor's degree. However, if you do require an intermediate transcript, we can actually arrange these things by liaising with the university as well. Or even if you plan on exiting the program earlier, we would typically request documents to prove that you would have done the program. This is where you would have gotten, etc. But those are special cases, right? But it's not actually considered to be a diploma program. So you're not don't really anticipate that you get something after you finish each one of these levels other than your marks and stuff like that, right? And of course, if you need any letters from CTS College to prove that, you would have completed a specific level of study, we can provide these as well, right? In addition to all of your marks and your grades and the syllabus and stuff like that, we can get those outlines for you just to assist you if, throughout you're looking at applying for a job and you're currently pursuing and you need that level of clarification for the employer. That's not a problem for us as well, right? So we're more than happy to assist you there. Okay, so that's pretty much structure from level 4 going all the way to level 6. So let's have a structure. Let's have a look at the structure. If you start at level 5, so students who start directly at level 5, of course, is gonna take a lot less time. So the structure is still the same nonetheless. So we have in level 5, 2 semesters of 4 months each. So that's 8 months to complete level 5 itself. Once you complete level 5, you can progress on to level 6. But of course, you have your semester break in between. So how much time does it take you to complete level 5 and then move on to level 6 and complete level 6? Well, then it takes you 16 months of studies, 8 months here, right? So we have 8 months here. Then we have another 8 months here. So that's pretty much 8 to 16 months of study, right? So just over a year of studies. And then we have 4 months of break in between each one of the levels. So before you move on to level 6 from level 5, you have 4 months here of break. So it's really 20 months of studies, right? 20 months of studies. So that's pretty much is just under 2 years, right? 20 months of studies. So that there is if you start directly at level 5 and you're moving on to level 6. So that's the structure there for that. We also have, of course, if you start at level 6 directly, right? So you skip level 4 and level 5 based on your qualifications and work experience, and you start directly at level 6, it's just really it's 8 months of studies, no break, right? So you start at level 6, you finish your first semester, you go straight on to your second semester, and you finish in 8 months, and after 8 months, you have your bachelor's in IT, right? You walk away with that, that's yours. So that's all of the benefit that we have to offer with you. And that's when we say that, it's flexible in terms of where you can start. That's exactly what we mean. All right. So a bigger question that a lot of you may actually ask yourself is, what can I do within this break? I mean, I had no idea that you all had a break in your program, but I mean, it's fine. but what can I do to add value to myself during that break? I mean, it's only fair for you to actually do something within that time. And we do have tons of certifications at CTS College that you can do. It can be an IT certification that is also recognized as well. And we have professional development courses which may assist you in what you will be doing in the next semester. So like students who just finished level 4, right? And they're gonna move on to level 5 in the next 4 months after their semester break, right? We would recommend that they do stuff like web design and Photoshop, Illustrator, possibly even they get into programming course or something like that. That would actually assist them once they move across into their next level of study, because there's a lot of exposure to things that they haven't really done as yet, right? And getting that head start is very valuable to the student as well. So we do actually have a wide range of things that they can do during the semester break as well. And particularly for students who are on break, right, during that period. So once you are a bachelor's in IT student on your own semester break, you are entitled or you are offered 40% off any certification course or IT course or anything as a matter of fact at CTS College. Once you're a IT student and you're on your semester break, you can let me know, right? And of course, I can have you enroll for any one of your courses, any one at of your choices, right? And you'll get 40% off that one that you choose, right? So it's only valid for your BSc and IT students. Another thing that students can actually do during their break period is, of course, we would allow you to sit into classes. Like if you just finished level 4, going on to level 5, and you want to sit into the level 5 class during your 4-month break, no problem. We would allow you to do so as well. So you can actually start some of your assignments before time. And once you actually enrolled within the semester and you actually start classes for real, you can just simply touch up on your assignments and just so you're actually doing a lot of your work ahead of time. If you wish to do something like that as well, right, you are allowed to. So that's another approach that students would pretty much take when they are on semester break as well. Yes, Eric, not a problem. It would definitely be sent to you after as well. Do you have any specials for certifications? Yes, right. Apart from that as well, right, we do have a special offer that we actually have going, right, for students who attend like one of our information sessions as well, right? But there's also extra pass to that as well. So we're gonna look at that a little bit later. So that's pretty much what you can do during your break period as well, right? Let's cover a little bit about the syllabus at each one of the levels. What exactly would you learn throughout the program, level by level? So level 4, you'll be exposed to a lot of networking, a lot of SQL for databases, so database development, design, database administration. You're actually going to look into networking and telecommunication. You're going to understand cabling, routing, switching, IP addressing. All of these would be covered. And of course, particularly for the networking at level 4. So let's say that you start level 4 and you're doing this networking module with us, right? It's done directly with Cisco Academy, meaning that you have the ability to get a Cisco certified certification from Cisco themselves and a badge which you can use on your profile, LinkedIn profile, or you can have a printed copy as well, right? Which can be added to your IT certification. So I believe that's wonderful. However, it's not at every level that you're gonna get something like this, right? But for our level 4 students, this is something that the university has done in partnership with Cisco Technologies, and they have that they available for you as well as part of the networking module, right? Introduction to SQL. SQL is structured query language. It's pretty much the language used to develop, design databases as well. So you're going to learn that thoroughly, right? And you would work with Oracle, right? Particularly Oracle Apex, right? You're going to be working with that on the web for your database design and development. You're also going to be working with Java and Python, which are programming languages as well, right? At level 5, you're going to be learning a lot about user experience design and how the design would work on different devices. So you're going to be learning, like a lot more about your layout, right? Graphically, right? Or user interfaces, right? So you would have the ability to design your very own user interface, right? Through your assignments and so on, right? And then, of course, you have a lot about how software and hardware can work together through systems development, right? So systems development and modern database design is essentially where you have the ability to use a database and create like, well, you create a solution using a database and a front end part of the system as well that communicates directly with the database to fetch and well retrieve and store data as you develop a working system, right? And of course, you also have a unit that particularly focuses on the interview room, right? Because I believe like a lot of programs at the university level don't really have these types of modules that focus on the employability aspect of your bachelor's in IT. So further down the line, you would have the ability to be exposed to, like if you were given an opportunity at an institution, you were invited for an interview, how would you answer questions? What are some of the things that, you would mention about yourself that would make yourself a bit more marketable, So all of these things would be covered at level 5, right? There's a lot of web work with web technologies there as well. So you would be reintroduced or introduced again into Java, right? And well, JavaScript, and you would be also exposed to scripting languages such as CSS and HTML, where you also are exposed to PHP, a lot of PHP there as well, and you have SQL coming in there as well, right? So you would be expected to design and develop a simple website, right, that communicates with a database, and it is of course locally hosted, right? So we're going to teach you a little bit about hosting, local hosting. So there is networking there involved at a certain level. And of course, at level 6, you conduct independent learning through project work and research techniques on new technologies. And of course, during this period, you will have the ability to produce a completely working software artifact and an accompanying technical report, right? So you also have IT project management. I believe that they currently teach, well, Prince 2 in terms of the project management aspect, but they eventually want to move across to Agile, right? So that transition is currently being discussed and I believe it would take place in the upcoming semester. All right. So you would also have the ability to develop an interactive software prototype. So you would be prototyping both at level 5 as well, but essentially at level 6, prototyping becomes a must, and you would be learning how to use Azure. So a lot of exposure into new applications and development technology. You definitely would be exposed to a whole lot more programming at this level as well, because students are actually encouraged to produce something like for their final project or their undergraduate project. You're actually expected to produce like a final software artifact that kind of takes the shape of something like probably Amazon or eBay, right? I think I have a couple of examples here to actually show you guys, right, what these would actually look like. So these are actually projects from students throughout various levels of the program. So the first one is, I believe, produced from a level 5 student, right? So this is a user interface design project or interactive prototype, right? So they created a digital wallet, right? So this is pretty much a login page. This is their main page. So like after you log in, this is what a typical customer or user should see, right? They also created a prototype for mobile devices as well. So that's the login screen, that's your dashboard, etc. This here is a level 6 project, I believe. This is an online store that a student created to sell art products. So we have the main page here, right? We have like an actual search conducted, so you can sort by category, by brand. So typical things that you would see on an online store, right? It kind of resembles Amazon or eBay, right? You can add items to your cart, etc. And they also took the opportunity to create a chatbot. So like while you're shopping and you're having trouble locating a product or you need help in general, you can actually get in touch with the online service, and you can get assistance in real time as well, right? So you can actually see that simulated on the right hand side here, right? And then of course there's the admin. As much as there's the front end, there also must be a back end where there's the administrative panel taking care of stuff in the back end. So you want to add a new product to adjust pricing, stuff like that. It could be done in the background. So there's front-end development and back-end development, which is fully covered in this project as well, right? And this student would have scored really, really high. There's tons of other projects as well, but I couldn't have fit all of them there. But it's quite intriguing to actually know that by the end of level 6, so even throughout the program, you would eventually have the skill and the knowledge to actually produce something like this. Is really, really amazing. All right. So how could you fit the bachelor's in IT into your life? right? We have essentially two semesters. We have a February and October. We also have a June, but the June semester is eventually going to be removed entirely, right? So with those semester breaks that are there, the university actually plans to remove those semester breaks and then just give us a big break from June all the way to September. So we would only have a February and October semester soon. All right. So that's really their long-term plan because that's how they do it in the UK, right? So they're trying to mirror that same structure that they have for us in Trinidad as well for all of their partners, as a matter of fact. So not only Trinidadians, but of course schools in, the other places like China, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, etc. Right? So it's not uncommon, right? But just for this semester, right, they're only accepting level 5 and level 6 applicants for the June semester. If you're applying for level 4, you would be applying for the October semester, right? So if you're starting at level 4, you must start in October for this year, right? But if you want to start level 5 or level 6, you can start right away in June the 10th. All right. So those are pretty much that's the situation that we're currently in with the university at this point in time, right? Again, just to reiterate, if you're starting at level 5 or level 6 or interested in starting there, you can start in June or October, right? However, if you're starting at level 4, right, you cannot start in June. You would have to start in October only. All right. So eventually, what they plan to do as well. So this semester, well, this year around, they're only accepting level 5 and 6 applicants at June. Then next year, they're only gonna be accepting level 6 applicants at June, and then the year after that, they're not gonna accept anyone. So they're just slowly taking it away, eventually, not making it an intake period and then eventually removing it as a semester entirely, right? But of course, once you start the program and you're progressing through as well, we'll inform you of the changes as they happen, right? So you're not going to be left in the dark when it comes to these things. These things are very important for you to be knowledgeable about as well, all right? So in terms of your unit to subject delivery, each session is pretty much 2 hours long, and you have maybe about 3 sessions per week, depending on your level, right? Some classes may fall from Monday to Friday, and other classes may actually fall on a Saturday. In fact, all levels would have a class on a Saturday. Classes may start as early as 8 a.m. and may end as late as 2 p.m., but it all depends on which level you are in, right? So of course, you would have your timetable for that. Each semester would typically last around 12 to 15 weeks. It depends on the semester as well. And each unit or each one of the modules or subjects that you would be doing within your semester is usually assessed by 2 to 3 assignments, right? So you would have an assignment 1, which is with 30% of the module. Then you would have a larger assignment, which is your assignment 2, which is with 70%. So that's pretty much how the marks are oriented for your assignments as well. But it's all subject to change moving throughout the program as well. All right. And then, of course, at the end of your semester, as we would have discussed a bit earlier, right? So if you finish your first semester in level 4, for example, and you're moving across to your second semester, you're gonna have like a small intermission of maybe about a week or two before your next semester begins, so before you jump back into your studies. But once you complete a level, right, you have to go on your mandatory 4-month break before you can start your next level of study. All right. So this is the tentative timetable that we have for June, right? You can actually see continuing students. These are the classes that you have at level 4. New and continuing students, we have classes for them here. Both of them are on Saturdays. We have new students in level 6 and continuing students in level 6, but there are amendments to be made to this timetable as well, right? So of course, we would have the updated copy of it sent to you all before the start of classes, together with access to your classes, because all of these would be online. So you must have your link and stuff for your classes, all right? So, what support is available at CTS College? Well, of course, there's face-to-face and phone support at CTS College to support you all in terms of your courses, in terms of academics, and of course, administrative assistance. So, if you need any assistance in terms of advice and support, you can contact us. Anything when it comes to registration and letters or general student inquiries, you can contact us as well. All right. And of course, we have academic support. So we have induction sessions, we have one-on-one support if required throughout the semester, totally free, of course. And I'm primarily the one that would conduct these one-off sessions as well, right? So you'll be liaising directly with me or Mr. Ironaris, your program manager from time to time once you get involved in terms of the academics. All right. Then, of course, we have online support, and that, of course, would come directly from the University of Bedfordshire through Brio. So you're given your study materials, your study support guides, your grades, your feedback, your submission of your assignments would all take place through Brio. And then of course we would have their online library. So Brio actually, well, Brio has well, the University of Bedfordshire, I should say, has Brio in addition to an online library. Once you become a student at the University of Bedfordshire as well, and you get access to Brio, right, and you get access to your student ID, all of these things, you can actually use your student credentials to log into paid services. For example, they give you all access to Microsoft 365. So you get access to Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, access. You get access to pretty much the basics for you to complete your assignment, like written assignments, but of course, all other pieces of software, material, books, anything would be provided by CTS College and the university. So there's no additional cost for any books or anything like that. It's strictly materials coming straight from the university. If there's software to be used to complete your assignments, it would be provided by CTS College. Any particular product keys or anything that you need for your software, it's provided by the university. So there's nothing additional that you have to purchase in addition to paying your tuition fees, your registration, and your university fees, etc. All right. So what support is available from the BSc IT team in terms of information, help, assistance, guidance, competence, solution, direction, or just simple general advice we would be able to provide for you as well. We typically enjoy hosting events on our Instagram page, and we have numerous social media pages up, not only representing CTS College, but we're looking to diversify in terms of each program. And just recently, we would have actually hosted an event that allows students to win free movie tickets on particular occasions as well. And these are things that we do every single semester. We're actually looking to include cases where, you know, students have the ability to attend some events with us. So we would have events where you would actually go out to, and it may actually differ from time to time when we may do this as well. But we are actually, in addition to actually, you know, creating that environment that would allow you to just, you know, not only focus on studies, but we want to also create a relaxing, enjoyable environment for you as a student as well while progressing through the program. And we have tons of comments or tons of feedback from students, not directly because we have like students who would call us directly and you know, just share with us what their experience was like. But if you take a look at any one of our social media pages, you would see tons and tons of comments and great messages about CTS College and the support that they would have received and all of these lovely things that they have to say as well. Right, so these are actually some screenshots of some of those comments as well. In terms of induction, because at the start of the semester, we always start off with induction, and you are introduced to the course and structure. You also have a referencing guideline session, and you have the ability to gain useful study tips and skills to succeed. We also have an academic writing workshop. So in addition to you attending induction, right? There's pretty much two parts of induction. We have the first session, which introduces you to the program. Then there's a second session that focuses on academic writing, because throughout the entire program, you would be exposed to a lot of research projects, and you may actually need to use like online articles and journals, websites, and blogs, whatever means of research, but there's a particular way that you must document because you can't steal someone's work and call it your own. That's plagiarism. And the university is cracking down and has been cracking down on this, and they're very strict. There are protocols that we must obey to as well. So you may actually have to learn from scratch how to properly cite and reference work once you use it from online or a book or a journal, wherever, right? You must properly cite and reference your work as well. So that's why we have two sessions, one focusing on the core aspects of the program, then another focusing on the academics, the academic writing in terms of referencing. Harvard referencing, the university has their own um, referencing standard, and you would be familiarized with it then, right, as part of induction. So it's all mandatory for new students or first-time students. Once you are accepted, you must attend induction, all right? So how would you be assessed? Well, students are assessed in a variety of ways. Most students are actually assessed through coursework. You have group and individual projects, we have portfolios, we have essays, presentations, and exams, and you have constant feedback and advice from your lecturer and the BSc IT team, right? So if you manage somehow to get stuck in any particular area of the assignment as well, feel free to reach out to us and we'd be more than happy to assist you. So all of these, of course, may vary depending on, you know, which unit you're doing and which level that you're at. So it's not always going to be an individual project. It may also be a group project. So like the bigger programming assignments or programming related assignments may actually require you to work in a group because it's a lot of work. It's not going to be able to get done by one person. And of course, you want to work within that team dynamic. All right. So that's a little bit about the assessments. Now, passing your unit or passing your subject or module, right, and progressing. This is a big question. So what would happen if I fail? What would happen? How would I go about progressing if I pass? And all of these things as well. So first of all, in order to pass the unit, you must attempt all of the assignments unless you were given some sort of alternative advice by the university or the BSc IT team. All right. So you must attempt all of your assignments. You must do all of your assignments. To pass a unit or to pass a module or a subject, you must gain a total grade of 40%. And that 40% must comprise of your marks from your assignment 1 and your assignment 2. And also to progress between your levels. So if you want to move from level 4 to level 5 and from level 5 to level 6 seamlessly, you must do the following. You must pass your 3 because each level you have 4 modules or 4 subjects that you have to complete. So in order to basically progress to your next level of study, you have to at least pass 3 units, right? Or 90 credits, or 3 units or 90 credits, right? With a total grade of 40%. And in the other unit that you didn't particularly do too well in, right? You must have at least scored 35% in order to actually pass. Anything lower than those figures, it may actually require you to repeat a particular module at an additional cost, right? But of course, we would exempt you from CTS tuition fees as well, given that you would have already done the unit before. But rarely ever we've been placed in a situation like these, right? It's only like maybe 1 or 2 students for the entire academic year that may actually have to repeat a module, right? Because most of our students are very work-oriented. They get their work done on time. The lectures are exceptional, right? So there's pretty much no reason for you to be failing. But if it does happen, because stuff does happen, right? So there's no actually telling what the future may hold for you. But of course, if you do happen to have some sort of, sudden mishap and you weren't able to focus on your assignment and you end up failing somehow, right, you are given a free opportunity to retake that assessment. If you fail the retake, then you would need to retake the entire unit at an additional cost, right? So your first attempt is to redo the assignment that you failed, right? That will help you pass the unit. If you pass the retake or the referral, right, you can pass the unit, right? So you don't need to pay to retake the entire unit. But if you fail that retake attempt for the assignment, then you fail the unit. Therefore, you need to retake it at the next available semester. All right. So it's a little bit complicated in relation to passing feeling, right? But of course, really, this is something that rarely ever happens, as based on the data that we would have provided at the very beginning of the session in relation to our feedback from the very first semester. Well, just last semester, sorry, that would have been from October to January. We'd have actually seen the pass rates for our units as well, right? So it's something that rarely ever happens. But if it does, trust me, we have support for that as well. All right. So in relation to the award classification, we have first class honors with an average of 70% and more. We have upper second class honors with an average of 60 to 69%. Lower second class honors would range from 50 to 59%. And third class honors would range from 40 to 49%. Right? So those are your award classifications, right, for your bachelor's degree. So just to share with you all as well, these are some of our recent results from February 2022. We would have received a graduating class with 43 students achieving first class honors, right? That's excellent. In June 2022, we would have actually achieved a graduating class of 31 first class honors, right? Students would have achieved first class honors. That's a total of 31. And then students, just one student with an upper second. You can actually see from this data here as well. We rarely ever get a lower second class honor, and we rarely ever get a third class honor, which is exceptional, right? Majority of our students, if not all of our students, achieve first class honors and upper seconds, all right? So another big question, what would I need to do this program? Well, first of all, right, if you are ever required to attend class in person, CTS College will have Wi-Fi access at the campus to students, as well as core textbooks available on the Bachelor's in IT shared drive that we would have created for you all. And students, what you are expected to have if you are doing your classes online, you must have access to Wi-Fi, and you must have access to a good working computer as well, right? Does not have to be a desktop, could be a laptop. Specifications may actually vary, right? There's no particular recommendations as well from the university for the specifications of your computer, right? But of course, any typical computer as according to today's standard, because there's a lot of the uh 10 gen, 11 gen, 12 gen, right? Level of processors or family of processors may actually work totally fine. Right? So you may not need the best fully upgraded machine at this point in time, right? So you're free to use whatever you have, right? And the programs on the software that we use at this level may actually, not be so um not be so demanding, I should say, in relation to your performance of your machine. So it may actually vary. All right. So there's no need to worry about those types of things as well. Well, you are given pretty much anywhere from like 2 to 3 weeks to retake the assessment, or possibly even like the initial time that you had to complete the assessment, you are given another due date, which is pretty much later on in the next semester. So it wouldn't be due like right away, right away. You would have a lot of time to complete the assignment as well. And the best part about it is the retake is actually most of the times the same assessment that you would have failed. So it's not like something new that you're doing. You have the ability to do over the same thing that you would not have gotten correct the first time. So that's usually the benefit of having to retake. But of course, your mark sometimes is capped at a particular percentage, given that you've already failed it and you're given the same thing to do again, right? But once you achieve, the highest possible mark that you can get, even though it's capped, right, at a certain percentage, right, you still can't pass the unit. But of course, it's something that rarely ever happens. So don't worry too much about it. Would Mac OS be needed, or Windows, right? We have a ton of students who use Mac OS, but trust me, most of the applications and stuff that we use, it's accessible both from Mac OS and Windows. So it wouldn't really matter, but a lot more of our students have shown preference for Windows because of compatibility issues and stuff like that when it comes to some of the software that we use. So the choice is entirely up to you. A lot of our students use like a virtual box, right? Virtual machine to actually run or emulate Windows, and they do their projects there as well. But we are continuously looking for applications or support that would work on various operating systems. And we even have some students who use Linux, right? And they get all their work done as well. So if you're struggling, if you're getting any issues as well, right, we can help support you all with similar applications that would run on your operating system seamlessly, right? With respects to the examination, sorry, what time of day would those be? All right, so if you have an exam, it's usually a multiple choice exam of 20 questions or more, right? So yeah, believe it or not, the exams are not structured answer. It's mostly multiple choice, but it has diagrams and stuff in it sometimes. But I'll not hint it all or give it all away. But of course, you would have an entire week to complete the exam, not just one day. So they would schedule a week, any week from Monday to Friday, right? And then, of course, you would have that entire week, any day throughout the week to do the exam, right? But you have to complete it within that week, otherwise, you automatically fail. And then, of course, you have to complete it before a specific time. So if it starts on Monday by 10 a.m., you would have to submit you actually have to do the exam before the Friday 10 a.m., right? So there's actually a day and a time cap to when you can submit your assignment. You can't just submit it on the day and expect it to think. They have a specific time that you must submit before as well. It's usually 10 a.m. on a Friday. Most of your assignment due dates are on a Friday before 10 a.m., right? But the days, of course, may vary, and the month, of course, may vary throughout the semester. All right. Chromebooks are generally fine as well. Right? Stuff that actually works for basic browsing and stuff like really, really low spec machines are actually proven to work fairly well. I mean, like in terms of performance, it may be a little bit slower, but it still gets the job done at the end of the day, so it should be fine. All right. So in relation to graduation, which is pretty much a big question for some of you all as well, where would you graduate? You have two options for graduation. You can either graduate at, well, CTS College. We actually host a graduation ceremony for our students at the end of the year, like around December, right? Like the first Sunday in December, we would have a graduation ceremony for all of our students who would have finished programs throughout the year, right? and that's actually held at the Hyatt Regency every year. You also have the option of graduating directly with the University of Bedfordshire in the UK, so they would have their graduation ceremony in the UK, and we had some students who attended it as well. But a lot of them had shown preference for our graduation ceremony in Trinidad because, they're among familiar faces, whereas in the UK, they don't particularly know anyone other than, probably some of the unit coordinators and lecturers and stuff. But it's not a lot of students would just go there just for the experience as well. But they've also attended CTS's graduation ceremony, and they've preferred that as well because they are among people that they know throughout the entire program, and it's a lot more enjoyable for them as well. But of course, you have the option to choose. And when it comes closer to your graduation time, once you complete the program, the University of Bedfordshire would send you an invitation and some sort of confirmation for you to confirm your attendance to the session as well, right? But I'm not quite sure if they would book a flight for you, or I believe that you would have to take care of those things on your own, which is an additional cost to you as well. So the choice is yours. Yeah, I don't think travel would be covered. Yeah. So when it comes now to qualifying to start a program as well, we're going to look at the entry requirements here. So the entry requirements for level 4, as we would have indicated a little bit earlier, you can have either 2 years of IT work experience, you can have K passes, you can have any previous tertiary qualification, you can have IT certifications as well, or the most popular option, we can have CSEC qualifications with a combination of 1 or 2 years work experience, right? And that could be any work experience, doesn't have to be IT related at all, right? Together with an IT certification, you can get straight into the program at level 4, right? So this is ideal for persons who have some IT work experience, so not really any IT work experience as a matter of fact, or they could have K passes with a tertiary level qualification, or it could be mature candidates with at least 3 years of work experience, right? So the evidence to actually support your application required would be your job letter to support your work experience, your academic certifications if you have any, your IT certifications if you have any, and we also need a copy of your ID or passports and a copy of your resume. Now, not both the ID and the passport is required, it's either or, right? So all of these have to be supplied, or some of these have to be supplied, of course, together with your application form once it's filled out. All right. So for level 5, to enter at level 5, successful candidates should possess any one of the following. You have level 4 IT diploma or IT equivalent qualification, right? That's totally fine. If you have K passes with 2 years IT work experience, that's also acceptable. You can also have a combination of IT work experience, at least 2 years, together with academic and or professional qualifications, and you can also enter directly at level 5. And this level of the program is ideal for someone who has previously completed a level 4 IT qualification, or they would have completed a certificate or a diploma qualification prior, or persons with a combination of IT work experience who also possesses IT professional certifications as well, right? So again, the evidence is to support is quite the same. So your job letter, your academic certifications, your professional certifications, a copy of your ID or passport, and a copy of your resume together with your application form. For level 6, right, successful candidates should possess any one of the following. So they can have a level 5 IT diploma, or an HND, or an associate's degree in IT or equivalent, or they can also have a combination of IT work experience, at least 4 years or 3 years, paired with academic and or professional qualifications with which falls under the category of IT or doesn't really entirely. All right, so this is ideal for persons who would have completed a level 5 IT qualification, such as a diploma, an HND, or an associates, and persons with extensive IT work experience can also apply, who also possess IT professional certifications as well. And the evidence, nonetheless, is the same to support your application. You have your job letter, your certs, your passport or ID, and your resume, right, in addition to your application form. So if you complete the bridging program, guys, you would primarily qualify to start level 4, right? The bridging program is just something that we do to prepare you all, and it's actually based off the syllabus from level 4, to be exact. So you are exposed to 5 different areas, which are also you are exposed to at level 4 in the bachelor's in IT. So we pulled core aspects out of the syllabus from level 4. We built it into a separate program for you all to meet that qualifying standard. So for each one of these areas, we developed a course on it. So we have one for Java, one for Python, we have one for networking, one for database, and one for web design. So that's your 5. And for each one that you enroll in and you complete, you'll be getting an individual certificate for each one, which you can then use in addition to your CSEC qualifications or your general work experience or whatever you have to now apply for your bachelor's in IT. And in terms of success rate into like using those and getting into the program, it's almost pretty much like 90 to 100% because all of, if not all of the students who would have actually applied after doing our bridging program with those certifications from CTS College, they were accepted unconditionally into the program at level 4. So you're almost guaranteed a spot into the program as well. But it's not, 100% guaranteed. There may actually be instances where, there are issues, but we typically would liaise with the university to get these resolved, and we get them resolved every single time. So it's almost seamless. You do the bridging program. If you know you want to move into level 4, you're almost guaranteed your spot at level 4. All right. So that's only for persons who don't meet the standard to enter into the bachelor's directly. You can do the bridging program first. If you're not, you just want to get a taste of it, I believe the bridging program is an excellent start for you all as well because it introduces what you would be doing at level 4 just a little bit earlier. So you know what you're getting yourself into before you actually get yourself into it as well. All right, so the choice is yours. It really is for both scenarios. So it's just for anyone who just wants experience within the area. You can probably do the program as well. All right. So those are the entry requirements for level 4, 5, and 6, respectively, for the bachelor's in IT. So we've covered the entry requirements, right? We do have the application process outlined for you now. So for any applicant, level 4 to level 6, you have to ensure that you complete your application form, right? The bachelor's in IT team, BSc IT team can help you fill out that form if you require any assistance, right? You must submit your CV or your resume and your ID together, right? If you're using work experience to support your application, of course, you must submit a letter from your employer confirming your job title, the duration of the employment within that position. Of course, the letter must indicate that the job is in fact a position. It's a position that you are holding at the establishment, right? So it must clearly outline that. The salary details, however, on your job letter is not essentially required, right? So you do not need to disclose that to us or the university. That could be left private. It's essentially surrounding your experience or the amount of time that you would have worked at the institution within that particular position. That's all that they need to know. Nothing along the pathways of your salary. All right. So you must also submit a copy of your transcripts and certifications as well, or certificates if you would have done like a diploma program, if you would have done like an associate or an HND or anything. If you have the certificate itself, you can use that. However, if you didn't receive the certificate and you just have the transcript, you can use the transcript in the meanwhile while we can send that off to the university. And in the meanwhile, while we await the response from the university as well, that will give you enough time to collect the certificate from the institute that you would have studied at. And we can always update the application with your certificate later on, right? So that that's something that we usually do as well for students who didn't really get their certificate for a program that they just recently completed, right? Supply your transcript if you have it. And while, we wait on the response from the university, whenever you get your cert, we can always update your application with the University of Bedfordshire. All right. And of course, you would need to submit a copy of your IT certifications if you have any, right? So like you don't need to submit necessarily like scanned copies, right? Like actual physical copies or anything like that. Everything could be digitalized and sent to us via WhatsApp or email, right? So you can actually take like pictures of these as well, clean it up and actually send it across to us as well. It's just something really simple to showcase all of your certificates. So you don't actually need to scan each one and bring it into Office for us as well, right? You can actually send everything to us over the web, right? So WhatsApp or email. All right. In terms of the application process, the steps between applying and starting. So of course, the process begins with you applying. You get interested into the program, you say this is something I want to do, and then you apply. Right. So that's your first step. The student applies via the application form, they supply their documents. We now would send it to the university. After you send it to us, which is CTS College, we would now compile this, all of your certificates, we would examine it to ensure that there's no error. then we would send it to the university. After we send it to the university, we actually expect feedback in the form of your acceptance letter, which is anticipated to come anywhere from 2 weeks, probably even closer to the semester. But of course, as of recently, the university have been really busy. There's tons of stuff that's actually going on over there. So we would really like to kindly ask that you wait closer to the beginning of the semester rather than waiting 2 to 3 weeks, because just last semester, we had tons of applications that we would have actually received acceptance for closer to the actual start date. So if you can allow us or allow the university to give you a response probably closer to June the 10th, for those of you all who are applying for June, right, that would be really appreciated as well. Right, so I'm just giving you guys a heads up. So it could come from anywhere from like 2 weeks, probably even closer to the start of your semester that you're applying for as well. All right, so once you get that feedback from the University of Bedfordshire in the form of your acceptance letter, they would send it to us, and then we would send the acceptance letters to you. And then we would also call you or try to inform you, get in touch with you to inform you that you were accepted. And then, of course, find out whether you would like to start the program right away, whether you would like to defer, probably just wait until you're actually ready. So that's something you can actually do as well. On the acceptance letter, you have three options: one, to decline the offer entirely, to disregard it. The other is, of course, to actually accept the offer, but you can always start whenever you want to, and your acceptance letter is only valid for one academic year or a full year, right? So anytime after that, you would need to reapply. But of course, if you reapply, you would be accepted again because you were accepted before, right? So that's usually not a problem. But of course, you have the option to start a little bit later. So let's say you apply, you get through, but you don't want to start in June anymore. You want to start in October or January next year. No problem. We can hold on to the acceptance letter for you. And when you are ready to start, then you would contact us and we can just kickstart the entire process from there. So we can actually prolong it. Or the final option is, of course, to start right away. So you can start immediately. And once you indicate that you would like to start, right, on your acceptance letter, we would kickstart the payment process, the registration process. We would finalize everything with the University of Bedfordshire. You're registered with CTS College. Now you are registered with the University of Bedfordshire after making your payments. And then, of course, you are all ready for your start of classes on June the 10th, right, 2023, for the start of the June semester. And that there would conclude the process of, well, the application. All right. And of course, we have WhatsApp groups, which you are added to. You are added to our mailing list. So you get your reminders for class, any updates throughout the semester, or your experience throughout the entire program. You'll receive updates there as well as via email. All right. So in relation, well, that's pretty much the application process, the steps between applying and starting. So in relation to cost, here is the full outline per level, what's going to look like for you all for level 4, 5, and 6 respectively. So you have 4 units. So how tuition is pretty much charged, we charge you per unit, right? So there's pretty much 4 units of 4 subjects of 4 modules every level that you look at, right? So for level 4, we have a standard registration fee that's paid each semester, which is $530 per semester, right? In terms of tuition, it's $2,000 per subject or per module or per unit, right? And again, we have 4 units in every level, right? So we take that $2,000 figure, we multiply by 4, that's 8,000, right? And there's also university fees or exam fees for the university, which is paid in pounds, and it's paid to CTS College, and we would send it off to the university in a timely manner, of course. So as soon as you pay us through our GBP account, it's forwarded off to the university once they invoice us. All right. And the standard fee that they have per module at level 4 is £150 per module. So when you calculate the total cost for all 4 modules for the entire level, right, it's £600. So we have 500 per semester. Remember, you have 2 semesters per level. So that's $1,000 in registration, 8,000 in tuition TT. So that's 9,000 TT that you'll be paying in registration and tuition for level 4. And then you have your £600 figure, right? So your level 4 is going to cost you roughly 9,000 TT, £600, right? Level 5, right? The only thing that goes up in level 5 is the tuition. The registration fee remains the same, and the university fees remain the same per unit, right? At level 5 though, for tuition, whereas it was in level 4, $2,000 flat, it's now $2,000, well, 2,250 per unit, which totals up to 9,000 for all of your units as well, right? So 1,000 per, well, 1,000 for both semesters in level 4, plus the 9,000 tuition for all 4 of your units is going to total up to 10,000 in registration and tuition TT, and then £600 for your university exam fees. All right, so that's 10,000 TT and £600, right? So that's roughly 16,000 TT in total. All right. So level 6, however, there's two things that goes up. The university fee goes up. So whereas it was £150 per unit in level 4 and 5, it's now £375 per unit at level 6. And then your tuition fees for CTS College again goes up. Whereas it was 2,250 in level 5, it's now 2,500 flat in level 6. Right. So your total cost would probably look at like, right, so you have like $500 registration per semester. You have 2 semesters, so that's easily 1,000 for your registration, right? Your tuition would total up to 10,000 TT, right? For all 4 of your units going at $2,500 each, right? These are TT values, of course, right? So that's 11,000 TT, and then £375 per module. That's going to total up to 1,500 pounds, right? So you could be paying anywhere from like 25 to 26,000 just for level 6 as well, right? So your total estimated cost for the entire program is anywhere from 54,000 to 56,000. That's total estimated cost in TT. All right. So that's all given that you start at level 4 all the way up to level 6. And of course, we're not expecting you to pay these figures up front. So don't be worried, right? You don't have to pay for the entire level upfront. You could pay for the semester upfront if you want to, which is a smaller figure, or you could pay per semester on a monthly payment plan. Keeping that monthly payment plan in mind as well, right? That's the next thing that we're going to cover. So these are the payment plan. These are the payment plans that we have available. So let's look at the payment plan for level 4, right? So we have the entire semester mapped out from month 1 all the way to the last month. So your semester would pretty much last 15 weeks or 4 months. All right. So at the start of your first semester in level 4, we encourage you to pay your registration fee, your tuition fee, $1,000 towards tuition, and you can probably start paying your university fees as early as possible to take care of your exams. So your first payment for the first month when you start your semester could be 1,500 TT and £150. So that's like roughly 2,000, 2,500 around there, right? Just for the first month, right? Or if you don't want to pay this university fee here, no problem. You can actually shift that down to one of the later months as well, because you have space here in your third month and a space here in your fourth month, right? So your first payment could just be 1,500 TT, right? So that's why we say it's customizable. You can actually shift where you want to make your payments as well, right? So this is just simply the structure for your first month, for your first semester. And at the end of your first semester, once you follow the payment plan, you will be meeting your end goal, right, or 4,500 TT and £300. And of course, the same structure for semester 1 is duplicated across the semester 2. If you follow the structure for both semesters, you will be making your total of 9,000 TT and £600 for both semesters for your entire level 4, right? That we would have calculated previously, right? And of course, if you're not comfortable with this payment plan, of course, closer to the start of the semester, once you start paying, we can schedule to meet, and of course, we can discuss a payment plan as specific to you that would work for you, right? No problem as well if you're not comfortable with seeing what is actually here, right? Of course, we have a structure for level 5 as well, right? It's quite similar. So we would ask you to pay your registration fee for CTS and some of your tuition upfront, right? Your pounds payment could take place in the earlier ones, or it could actually take place in the later months as well, right? But total per month is actually expected to stand at for your first month as well, 1625 TT and £150. But if you pay your pounds later, of course, it will just be 1625 at the start of the semester, right? And of course, your payments can be shifted up or down. And if you follow your payment plan, you're going to meet that end goal of 5,000 TT, £300 for your first semester, right? And of course, if you follow the same structure for your second semester, you're going to end up making your level 5 total, which is 10,000 TT, £600 following the payment plan, right? Paying your fees on a timely manner as well. And of course, that should really conclude the payment plan that we have for level 5. But if you're not comfortable with the payment plan, again, feel free to reach out to us and we can have something created specifically for you. All right. So that's it there, really, for level 5. Now, level 6 is a little bit different. So there's a lot more fees as well that you have to pay. And again, it can actually be shifted a bit down, but your registration fee, really recommend that you clear that upfront together with your first tuition fee payment. Right. So your first payment could look something like, for your first month at the start, could actually look like 1750 and £375. Again, if you can't make that pounds payment, it could just be 1750 TT at the start, and then you can shift your pound payments to the second and third months, or the third and fourth months respectively. So once you follow the structure, your total payment for your entire first semester could look like 5,500 TT, £750, which is evenly split between both semesters as well. You follow the same structure for semester 2, and at the end of your level, you're going to be making your full payment, which is 11,000 TTs, £1,500, which is roughly what, 26,000 TT, right? So this payment plan is achievable, but of course, if you're not comfortable with it, right, we have no problem scheduling something a bit different for you, right? Because I know people may be, getting paid on a fortnightly basis, or maybe a monthly basis, or even a weekly basis as well. So it's all about, how, we are assisting you in meeting your demands, right? So if you have any issues in relation to your payment plan, feel free to reach out to us and we can actually structure one specifically for you as well. But the really, just by looking at this as well, right, the real rule of thumb here is to actually clear your fees before the semester ends. Even if you don't want to go on a payment plan as well, it's a little bit hard for you, and it's a little bit spontaneous when you would actually receive pay if you work self-employed and you work jobs and stuff like that, right? It all depends on how you get paid and what particular day you get paid. That's totally fine. But once you clear your tuition in full before the semester ends, you're good to go. All right. And only then will we allow you to move on to your second semester, your next level, etc. Right? Just out of concern, because we don't want you to be worried about, how am I going to make this money to pay for my semester, and you're still doing your assignments. It's going to take a toll on you. It's something that we recognize a lot. So what we would do is just interrupt your studies for the time being until you get cleared, and then we would allow you to resume and continue right from where you would have left off as well. But it's all about what you want as well, what works for you. So if that works for you, no problem, right? But if you want something special for you as well, we can work something out. So that really there, guys, is the payment plan structure that we have for level 4, 5, and 6, as well as the total cost for the program as well, right? So it all varies on where you start, when you start, and how you want to go about making payments as well. All right, so I'm seeing that there's tons of questions on chat. Let me just have a look at it. Yeah, so there's a June intake, but not for level 4. It's June. If you're looking at level 4, you would have to start in October, unfortunately, because the university is eventually going to remove the intake period from June, but they're doing it sequentially. They're doing it incrementally, sorry. So every year, every academic year, they're not allowing a specific group of students to enter in June. So this year, not allowing level 4. Next year, not allowing level 4 and 5, and eventually they're going to remove the intake period by the following year. All right. So if you're interested in starting at level 4, it would be October. If you're interested in starting in June, it would be level 5 and 6 only. All right. Just confirming that again. Let me just look through. Oh, gate funding. So does it have gate funding for the program? No, not for this program and not for any program like this. The reason why is that it's a program being offered with a foreign university, right? Which is UK based, by the way. And of course, it involves foreign fees. So any program that falls within those categories or satisfies those criteria, it would not be approved for gate funding. So a lot of gate funding would be acceptable for like UE programs and stuff like that, like UE bachelor degrees and stuff. Anything that's local, right? You would have access to gate funding, but not any program that's done outside of the region, right? Internationally and stuff like that, right? Or once it involves foreign fees, gate funding does not apply to it. All right, so that's really the rule of thumb when it comes to gate. Yeah. That's why we have the payment plans as well, because we understand that it may be a little bit challenging for you if you don't have gate funding by your side. So we have constructed customizable payment plans for you as well, just to make achieving your bachelor's degree a viable option for you as well. All right. You're getting the video afterwards. Totally, definitely getting it afterwards. You're also getting the slides for the presentation as well after the session. All right. And so we actually cover the cost. So we actually have a special offer for you all as well. So applicants will actually receive up to $1,000 off in tuition fees. That's CTS tuition. So you get $250 off each unit, and of course there's special conditions apply. The first criteria was actually being here today, so you all automatically satisfy criteria 1. Criteria 2 is that you must submit your application form with all of the supporting documents by Friday the 21st of April, so that's next week Friday. Ensure that you submit all of your supporting documents on your application. Even if you're a level 4 student applying for October, send us your stuff. You can actually get you approved for June, but you can defer till October, as we would have discussed throughout the session as well, right? So you're sending that to bsc@ctscollege.com. The semester's registration, tuition, and university fees must be paid in full by the 10th of June. So you must pay your fees upfront in order to qualify for the discount as well. But of course, if there's any challenges or delay, right, we can of course still apply that discount for you all, even though that you don't pay your fees upfront as well, as long as you send in your application before the date, and well, you're already here within the information session as well, and you make some sort of payment upfront for your semester as well, we have no problem applying that discount for you as well. You are entitled to it as well, right? But of course, you're not allowed to make payments until you are accepted, because we don't want to have to refund you those fees or have to go through that entire process, right? So we at this time ask you that you wait until acceptance before you start making any payments at all, right? Just for your safety and security in terms of your finance, right? So that's really the payment plan structure, right, for the program, as well as the special offer that we have for you guys, right, once you apply. So where do you guys start? Start of classes on the 10th of June. That's a Saturday. Induction would be the Saturday week before Saturday, and then the Wednesday before the classes start. You would receive separate reminders reminding you for the each one of those induction sessions, as well as the start of classes on Saturdays. You will not miss anything. You'll get a reminder on WhatsApp. You'll also get a reminder on email. All right. So that's really it there for the BSc and IT portion of the presentation today. Are there any questions at this point in time? Right, I'm going to outline for you guys really quickly in relation to the bridging program as well. So our bridging program, as we would have discussed, and tons of persons are expressing interest in it as well, right? So if you think that you don't meet the entry requirements for the BSc in IT, or you don't think that you're ready for the BSc in IT, no problem. We've constructed a bridging program for you all. We call it a bridging program, but it's essentially called the IT fundamentals program, or even some persons consider it to be an IT accelerator program. And those are some of the things that it's really branded, but you wouldn't hear about it on our site or on our ads. It's something that we do specifically for our BSc and IT students or applicants who are interested in entering the program, but you don't really meet the requirements, so you don't meet the qualifying standard. That's not a problem. We have a solution for you. So this program is ideal for students just out of secondary school and you want to start your bachelor's. We have an accelerator program presented for you. So anyone who is seeking to pursue a qualification in information technology, but you may not have achieved the qualifying standard to enroll in a bachelor's in IT directly, right? We have the program for you. So the bridging program is made up of 5 individual courses, each of which introduces the student to an area within the field of information technology, and each course runs for a period of 4 weeks or 12 contact hours. The courses are practical, with weekly assessments and solving real-life problems. So you are actually given assessments every single week, right? You would have classes every single week, but we wouldn't have all 5 courses running Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? We would have 2 running. Once those 2 courses are finished, we would start another 2. So it doesn't, crowd you all with way too much assignments and way too much work throughout every single day of the week, right? And yes, these courses do not run on a weekend. They would be in the afternoon period from around 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So these are all 3-hour classes, right? So you have 12 contact hours. Each course would last 4 weeks, meaning that you have 4 sessions, and each session is 3 hours long. So 4 by 3 is 12 contact hours for each course. All right. And of course, all of these are online. So upon completion of each unit or each one of the courses, a student would receive a certificate for each one. So if you do 5 courses, in other words, you get 5 certificates. And that's depending on if you pass your assignments as well after each one of the class, right? So if you do 4 courses, you're going to get 4 certificates. All right. So that kind of thing. And you can now use each one of those certificates that you achieve to add on to your application for your bachelor's in IT, in addition to your CSEC qualification or any other qualification that you have. If you have a resume documenting work experience, generalized or IT work experience, or even a student resume, right, with just your hobbies and your interests, that's totally fine. Include that together with our bridging certificates and your CSEC qualification, and you are good to go. You are more than likely to be accepted for level 4. All right. So the 5 courses that we have to offer is Java, Python, networking, web design, and database design fundamentals, right? And each one of them are actually scheduled to start later in June. So we have like exactly how we would run the BSc IT program. We've tried to create a structure that allows you to complete the program and then start the bachelor's in IT right after. So it has correct intermissions as well. So it starts in June and would run straight to probably the end of August um into September. We'll try not to cut too close into September as well, right? So that would allow you to apply and get accepted, enough time to apply and get accepted for October, right? So you could start a bridging program in June, finish off your courses, and then apply for the bachelor's in IT to start in October one time. So it's all streamlined for you. There's no need to wait really, really long to then apply later on once you finish the bridging program as well. But it all depends on where you like to start and end, right? So these are the start dates and the end dates. For each one of these, there's only one that's tentative at this point in time, and that would be the Java programming, I believe, right? But of course, you would have the timetable sent across to you guys after the session as well, together with the registration form. So how to go about registering and paying as well. We have an individual registration form, right? There's no entry requirements required for the bridging program, of course, right? So there's nothing that you have to provide in terms of qualifications. All we need for you to do is fill out a registration form for us, indicating which ones of the courses you're interested in doing. And then, of course, we'll get you registered, ready for start of classes closer to June, right? Because we have a little bit of time before your first course is actually starting, right? So your first course would actually be starting June the 27th, which is database design fundamentals, right? So these two would be running together, Python and databases, 27th and 28th. When these two finish, we would actually have those two starting in July, right? So we have networking fundamentals starting, then we have web design starting, and then the last one would start on it later down in July, right? And then once you finish that now, right, you can move straight onto your bachelor's after you get the certificates from us as well, right? So that's how it's pretty much streamlined for you all, right? So in terms of cost, right, each one of the courses would cost you individually $1,000. So like if you're doing maybe 2 courses this cycle and then the next cycle that we have running later on to say you want to do another 2, it's going to cost you individually $1,000 each because you're not doing them all together. However, we've created a bundle for you. So if you want to do all 5 courses within one cycle, right? So if you start and you want to do all 5 of the courses from June to August with us this cycle coming up here, you get all 5 of the courses at a discounted rate. You get 30% off each one. So that stands at 3,500 versus doing them individually and then paying $5,000 at the end of it. You get all of them for 3,500 within one cycle. All right. So that's pretty much the structure that we have there in terms of payment. And of course, yes, we do have payment plans for these as well. So we don't expect you to pay that full $3,500 upfront if you're doing all 5. So you have the option of doing that as well. But of course, if you want a payment plan structure, we would advise you to pay at least 50% upfront, right? 50% of the total as well upfront. And if you can't make that 50%, no problem. You can pay 25% upfront. And then for the remainder of the bridging program as well, you just clear the balance, right? Moving forward. So you pay another 25% by the second month or like probably by the second fortnight, another 25% coming down closer to the end, etc., until you clear your total, right? So that's pretty much a payment plan structure that we have for the bridging program as well. It's not as much, there's no need to actually streamline it as you would have seen for the bachelor's in IT because there's no foreign fees or anything associated to it. This is something that CTS College is doing directly for our students. All right, so those are the payment plans there. So in terms of applying and registering, you must complete the registration form to enter the CTS IT bridging program and send the completed registration form to bsc@ctscollege.com. Of course, I will email you the registration form for the bridging program as well as the application form for the bachelor's in IT. So you would have those on hand, right? So you can either download it, print it, and then fill it out and scan it and send it back to us. So you can actually type in the fields, right, for each one of these as well, right? So there's no actual need to print them. If you don't have access to a printer, you can actually fill it out online and just send it back to us, right? So you can actually type in the fields on the application form for the the bachelor's in IT, and you can also type in the fees for the registration form for the CTS IT bridging program as well. But you have to ensure that you do so before the start of classes. So your first class would start on the 27th of June. So if you're registering for that course, you must register before the course starts, right? So you must send us that registration form, and you must send us your some sort of payment or some sort of payment to kickstart the whole payment process. And then we would have you added to the class listing, we would have you added to the roles, we would have you added to your classes. So we give you access to all of your materials as well. So there's no books or anything that you have to purchase for this as well, right? We provide everything. So your tuition is pretty much all inclusive for you. All right. So that there should really conclude the presentation for the bachelor's in IT as well as the bridging program with CTS College. Are there any questions in relation to anything that we would have covered today as well? Now is your time to speak up. You can use your mic, you can message on the chat, right? I'm seeing a lot of messages coming in now as well, right? And I just want to quickly thank you all for being really patient with us this morning as well. But that's pretty much it at the end of it. Are there any questions at this point? Okay, so Marsha asked,
Good,
yeah,
good
go,
day.
yeah, good
Yeah.
day.
What I would like to find out, right? I had sent in a previous application last year, right? However, due to um the situation with my source of funding at the time, um, I was not able to get the funding to attend the course last year. However, I'm in the process of reapplying this year. So I don't know if it is because I didn't take any courses or anything with regards to my certifications and what if it is the information that I submitted last year could be used for this year's application for the October semester? Or do I have to start the whole process all over again?
I don't think you need to start the process over again. You would have applied in October, right? I recognize your name from the time you started the session as well, right? So definitely, I think that we can use the same. So this is one of the cases where we can actually use the same acceptance for you to start, right? So it's just really you would have deferred, right? And now that you have the opportunity to start, you actually have the correct finance to actually start the program, then you are welcome to as well. So I'll have a separate conversation with you afterwards with regards to the steps required. So it's just really registration at this point, right? But I'll have to also examine the level that you're starting at and the initial acceptance so that we could properly advise, what steps would be necessary, right? So definitely that would require a private conversation, right? So if you're available after the session, I'd be more than happy to chat with you in relation to your starting point. All right. Thanks, Eric.
Okay, no problem. Thanks.
Yep, take care. Okay. All right. So we have a ton of questions in the meanwhile that have been coming in via chat. So let's probably start at the top. So, okay. Uh, the assessments would be given at the end of class. I'm assuming this for the bridging program. So yes, as part of the lecture, you would be doing a lot of practical work. So at the end of the session, the lecturer would actually introduce what assignment that you would have that's due next week for the next day of class. And you would have an entire week to complete that particular assignment. So at the end of every class, you would have to submit an assignment as well. We have a submission site for you all as well, so you can upload it. And then at the end of the course, we would tally up all of the marks and then give you a total, overall feedback. And then we would issue a certificate according to your particular grade. So your grade is also reflected on your certificate as well, right? Once you would have completed the course. So yes, assessments are given at the end of every class for the bridging program. Assessments for the bachelor's in IT is given by the university, but it's given incrementally. So like by the start of your very first semester, right, you are introduced to what your assignment one would look like. And then somewhere midway throughout the semester, once you complete your assignment one, assignment two would be released, and that would, the details would be published to you all. And we would also think, but the assignments doesn't really change that much. So we already know how to advise to start to get you all to work, right, on your assignment and get you familiarized with the theory and stuff like that. So it's not too far-fetched. All right, so it's gonna be pretty seamless in terms of your assignments there. Is there a payment plan? Well, we run through the payment plan as well, but just to reiterate, the payment plan for the bridging program as well is that you can either pay like 25% of the total cost for all of the courses that you're doing in the bridging program, whether it's 3, 4, 5, right? We calculate 25% of that figure, and you can pay that percent upfront, right? And then throughout the duration of the bridging program, throughout the time that you're doing the courses, you can clear the balance, right? Or you can probably look at paying half the amount up front and doing the same in 25% payments respectively going forward, right? But that's something that we can probably discuss as well, right? If there's something separately that you would like to do as well, because I know persons would be getting paid probably weekly, fortnightly, monthly, so it may vary for you all as well. So after the bridging program, can you apply for the BSc in October? Yes, most definitely, right? In fact, you can kickstart, we can actually start the application, but don't send it so we can fill out the form and stuff like that in the meanwhile. So when you finish the bridging program and you get all of your seats from CTS, we could just simply add it on and then send it off to the university. So that's really what we would like to do, right? Would you be able to start in January once you accept it for October? Definitely. So what could happen is that you could do the bridging program from June to August, and then you can apply using those certificates for the bachelor's in IT for October. And once you accept it for October, you can defer to January. So those are all, you see how flexible it is for you all as well, right? So yes, that is something that you can definitely look at doing as well, right? That's totally fine, right? If a student has to redo the course, are there any discounts for those students or payments that they do not need to make? Are these for the bridging program courses for the bachelor's and IT courses? That's a question from Rayu. Rayu, you mind elaborating? For which one of the programs? Oh, okay, so for the bachelor's in IT, if you have to redo the course, we remove the tuition. So you don't have to pay the tuition fees, but you will still need to pay the CTS registration fee of $550, and you'll also need to pay the university for just for that unit. So if it's like one unit you have to repeat, right, you need to actually pay £150, and you also need to pay 500 TT for registration. All right, but it may actually vary. So if you have to repeat a level 4 or level 5 unit, it's £150 for just that one unit. If it's a level 6 unit, it's £375 because that's the cost for one unit at level 6, right? And of course, the 500 registration. So we don't charge you any tuition at all, just being reasonable that you would have already done the material with us. You already covered it, so why charge you again for it, right? So that's a cost that we would save you as well, right? Not to add any burden to you. Okay, so yeah. Um, okay, so if a student has to, okay, so once you have submitted your application form for the bridging program, you just have to wait until the first class. So yes, what we would do is once you send us that registration form, right, we would have you confirm your spot by paying, right, something. It doesn't have to be the full figure. In fact, it doesn't have to be even 25% or 50%. Once you pay something, we would add you to the class listing. We would send you all of the materials that you need for the bridging classes for the ones that you registered for. We would also keep you on the loop by adding you to our WhatsApp group for the class. So we use our WhatsApp group as our classroom environment for any discussions, and then we would have Zoom classes, or we would host all of our classes on Zoom. So like you would actually have a Zoom session for each one of the sessions that you have for your particular course. Those are your actual classrooms environment, right? So we would have you included every step of the way. So your progress is tracked, so you're not left behind. But yes, right? So once you submitted your application form, it's essentially waiting and paying and waiting for the start of the course, the class, right? And of course, you would have your reminders posted to you as well before the start of classes, and you'll probably be reminded via call that your classes are about to commence, and you have to ensure that you're all ready. All right. And once you completed that, you can then apply for the bachelor's in IT later on, right? So you can start by filling out your bachelor's in IT form, even if you wanted to, and then register for the bridging program, right? Once you finish the courses that you registered for, you can then later on include those, and then we can send the application off to apply, right? Also, with the email for the session today, it was said that the individual can earn up to $1,000 off. Is that $1,000 off the BSc? Yes, it's for the BSc, right? It's for the bachelor's degree, not for the bridging program. We have a separate discount for the bridging program as well, right? So that would be if you choose to register for all five, you get 30% off. So instead of paying 5,000, right, in total, you get all five of the courses for 3,500, right? Yeah. Are there any further questions? I don't think I missed anything. If I missed any question, feel free to, post it again or just direct me to where it is so I could address it. All right. So, oh, another one? Excellent. So for the IT certifications at CTS College, are some of the courses face-to-face? No, all of these will be online. So most of our IT certifications and short courses at CTS, particularly the bridging program, is fully online, right? The bachelor's in IT, though, I just want to mention to you all is that we had discussions with ECTT, that's the Accreditation Council of Trinidad and Tobago. We also had discussions with the University of Bedfordshire, and they indicated that they eventually want to move back to face-to-face. But even if they do, I just want to advise you that the option of choosing face-to-face and online would be your option. So you have the ability to choose whether you want an online class or an face-to-face class, right? But that's still a discussion. So that probably wouldn't come about until like the next year or 2 years. We have a lot of time before they actually take those into consideration as well. So there's no need to worry about those, right? Any subjects in AI or cybersecurity, there's a specific level of cybersecurity at the bachelor's in IT, but nothing specific. Remember, IT, the bachelor's in IT seeks to actually provide you holistic development in various areas, but it doesn't focus on any one. If you're interested in looking into cybersecurity and AI, machine learning, and you're looking at networking specifically, we do have a ton of internationally recognized IT certifications done in partnership with CompTIA, right? And also Cisco, right? So we have CompTIA A plus, Network plus, Silver plus, and Security plus, right? So of course we would cover all of the lecture notes and materials that you need to finish the course, right? And then of course we would assist you in booking the exam with CompTIA to get the official certification, the internationally recognized stuff, right? And of course, most of the exams, some of these you may actually need to renew every 3 years or so with CompTIA. So it's something that's continuously ongoing. But you would get a badge, a certified badge from CompTIA, and of course their certification as well, which would um, suffice. And then, of course, we have CCNA, which is the Cisco Certified Network Associate, which I would recommend for students who want to get into networking or who wants extra certification, even after they finish their bachelor's in IT, right? I mean, I'm currently doing my bachelor's in IT. I'm a student within this program as well, right? And I also manage it. So students, I really recommend that even after you finish your bachelor's in IT, get certified. Do the certification course is going to help you a lot in the long run because a lot of persons are coming out of school with this bachelor's in IT. In fact, we have over 200 to 300 students right now in this program. That's 200 to 300 persons having the exact same qualification that you would be having, right? In the next 2 years approximately. So what makes you different from them? I mean, you all have the same qualification, you learn the same thing, you sat in the same classes. What makes you different from them, right? Doing, going that extra mile, doing extra certifications, going that extra mile really helps a lot. And I personally recommend it as well. All right. So if you're looking at networking specific, we do have internationally recognized certification courses that you can look at as well. These are separate courses. All right. But these are actually fairly long as well as some of them are actually like a couple of months long. So like 2 3 months long. CCNA, I believe is like 4 5 months long to cover the content with CTS, and then you just book your exam and get your exam done. Right? We would assist you in booking your exam as well, but it's an additional course that goes directly to the awarding body for that particular exam. All right. So that's it. We actually used to offer Rochester's, which is like a cybersecurity specialist course, but that actually focused on white hat hacking, threats, like threat assessment and all of those various aspects of cybersecurity, but it has been discontinued. But we're currently looking at alternative solutions to this as well, right? For the meanwhile, we're looking at some stuff that Cisco has to offer, right? But at this point in time, we don't really have anything that focuses directly on cybersecurity itself as we used to, right? But we do have a couple of things that could assist you along that networking pathway because cybersecurity and networking go hand in hand, right? You have to have that programming skill, yes, but understanding networks and having that full background on networking really assists a lot, right? In fact, our lecturer for the networking modules and even for the networking courses that I just mentioned is an IT specialist, right? His name is Mr. Glensing as well. You could probably look him up, right? He's one of the very few individuals within the Caribbean region to have like a specific certification with Cisco, and he is an excellent person, an excellent IT professional within that field. He's actually considered to be a white hat. If you are into that stuff, you know what that is, right? That alone can probably say the level of experience that this guy has in his particular field. And with such a value to have him lecture with us at CTS Culture. That's another thing as well. A lot of our lecturers, right, are actually IT professionals. So you're not getting just any and anyone to actually deliver these courses. It's persons who know a great deal about it, persons who have experience in these fields as well, actually teaching it. All right. So that's pretty much it there. Are there any specials with the certifications at the bridging programs? Yes, right. So if you're looking to do all five of the courses in one cycle, so if you want to do all five of the courses from now until August, we can give you 30% off each one of them. So instead of 5,000 for the bridging program, you'll be getting it for 3,500, right? And of course, if there's a need for any additional discounts, we'll organize separately as well, right? But that's like a keys to keys thing. All right. Any more questions, guys? All right. So if there's no further questions or concerns, I'm going to end this session here. Thank you guys so much for attending our Bachelor's in IT session today. It's such a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to chat with you all in the future as well. The recording to this session as well as the slides would be sent shortly. So please be patient. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, feel free to contact us at the numbers on screen. All right. I'm the last person on the list. I'm your program administrator. Feel free to take a screenshot of this here, right? And you can always contact me after this session, right? Thanks, guys. Take care, everyone.